What's going on, YouTubers and my reefing fam? Fragbox TV, March here. I want to talk to you about some corals that I sadly killed in our reef tank here in the store. All right. Like I said at the beginning of the channel, I'd like to show you the good and the bad. When corals are doing happy, I want to grab the camera and I want to talk about the acans, I want to talk about the frog spawn and the long tentacle plates and show and share all the good and happy, nice times that come with this hobby and make it so enjoyable and rewarding and just a great overall experience. But that's not always the case, even for us here in the store. Our staff combined experience is around 50 something years of reef keeping. We still have issues from time to time. These are sort of fragile systems, and if things go unchecked, that's when we can run into issues. So I had a couple of problems with this tank here, and let me explain to you what happened. So first I'll show you this hammer. I managed to kill 4 out of the 5 heads. It was really nice. This purple and green Indonesian branching hammer that used to kind of encompass this area here. And I also managed to kill, not too proud of this one, this torch here, which is a, you know what? I'm getting lost in the torch names. It's like every day I'm seeing a new one. It's maybe a dragon soul. Dragon soul? Yeah. Is this not dragon soul? No. You see, reverse dragon soul, 24 karat gold, New York Knicks. I don't know. There's so many names for torches. I can't keep up anymore. I'm just gonna call it nice torch. That's what I've just named it. And it was much nicer when it had all of its heads. So I think you can kind of see here. Let me see, I should really turn off the flow. But I've killed about 70% of it. It used to, same idea, kind of cover back there. So I've lost 4 to 5 heads on that one. And I killed 2 clams. A small maxima and a larger maxima that were in here for months. They were doing great. So all of a sudden, I would say over the course of, I don't know, maybe 2 days. Shit, one more, crap. Sorry for swearing, as if that's swearing. Let me see where he is. Over here. This was my favorite Acropora, not only in this tank, but in the entire store. And this was my favorite. It was called a Reef Raft Orange Passion. Actually, I left him in here, so you can see he's covered in algae just for the purpose of doing this video. But it's time to take him to his final resting place to remind me to, what? Check the salt. You know what? That's going to be my salt checking reminder. I'm going to leave it up there. So you hear us talk about a lot in the videos, preaching, check your salt and investing in good hardware and equipment to do that. And for me, as always, is going to be this Sybon over here, the Sybon refractometer. But more importantly than using a good refractometer and staying on top of checking the salt with that device is calibrating it. So if it goes out of whack, which happens quite often, there's a small spring inside so that can skew the values. You're going to want to make sure that it's calibrated. So this tank was looking really good, and I find that when stuff, or at least in my experience, how I'm reefing, when it does well, I kind of get a little lazy and I stand back and enjoy the tank and I test less and less because everything's looking fine. So in this tank, what happened, the salt began to rise. So we normally shoot for 1.025, and over time, naturally, I'm not sure why it rises. I think it has to do with the addition of calcium. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, in the comments below. There's someone, I can't remember your name.
There's
calcium?
Sodium in 2-part dosing.
Okay, in 2-part. Okay, yeah, I thought that was it. But there's someone that always comments on the videos, and I don't know your name, but you give very good, in-depth, scientific answers, and I read them and I appreciate them. I just can't remember your name right now. I think it's like something Reefing Master, Canadian Reefing Master. Anyways, I know you're going to jump on this and answer because you really give very good and well thought out written comments. So I appreciate that, and I do see them. So I think it is the 2-part dosing. Over time, naturally, will just, I think it comes from the calcium. It will raise the salinity. So it raised to almost 1.028. So what made me take action, I saw that those were suffering, and a couple of the leathers were closed, and the Duncan too. So these corals in here were all pissy one day, and that's what caused me. Number one thing I always check before I check anything else is salinity. Lo and behold, it's 1.027, basically 2.8, which is far too high in my experience for keeping a half-pea and healthy reef system. So all I had to do was lower the salt. So how do you lower the salt in the reef tank? Take out salt water and add fresh water. It's that easy. We do recommend using RODI. If you're using tap, okay, that's fine, but try and go with RODI water. Oh,
sodium.
Oh, sodium, look at that. So in one of the two parts. So in this tank I am dosing this here, which is ESV, if you're curious. And in the other systems I'm using Red Sea to maintain the calcium, alk, and magnesium levels. But that's my sidetrack for the day. It basically creeped up, coral's not happy, take out salt, slowly add fresh water. So if you find yourself in that position where your salinity is too low or too high, it probably took time to get there, and you don't want to make a drastic change. Don't try and get it back to 1.024, 25, or whatever you decide to keep your salt at. Don't try and get back there in one day. Take your time to slowly get back there. So how I did it in this tank, I would just take this little bucket that I use, empty out slowly, and then let the auto top off compensate for the water that was coming out. Over the course of a couple days, I brought it back up, and thankfully I managed to save a portion of this hammer, which I really like. It's sort of common, so we can replace it, but that's not the point. It's a living animal. I never want to kill stuff in the tank, especially nice hammers like that, and especially nice torches like this, which we don't see every day. But he's looking good now. Everything's kind of back to life and just looking puffy and alive, and just better because that salt level is back to normal. So I just want to share that with you. Like I said, I'm always going to show the good and the bad. And we mess up here in the store. I mess up. I've been doing this a long time. I still make mistakes, and I would say that is a pretty basic sort of rookie mistake. The salt got too high, but unfortunately I wasn't able to catch it until I'd experienced some corals die. So that led me to do this. I'll show you here in the back. It's kind of ghetto, but it works for us because we got to walk by this every single day. So just start recording. So here's our salt. Yeah, we're all rock stars, we know. Okay, take it easy, merch. Salt, alk, mag, calcium, and then just start recording salt for every day. So the team can kind of see when they come in what the salt's running at. There's another site out there that allows you to measure salt on their site. It's called Aquatic Log. Actually, a local guy here from Toronto, Dimitri, who made it. It's a really helpful and useful site, and it's free up to a certain point, just for recording all your values, your water changes, maintenance, stuff like that. So check them out. It's called Aquatic Log. Really, really cool site and very user-friendly, easy to use. And I think that's it for today's video, sharing my rookie mistakes. And I think that's about it. I'm going to leave you guys with our contact info like I always do. I'll put our email address. Feel free to hit us up if you got any questions, or come by and visit us. We're in the Toronto region. You can come check us out here in person. Stores finally open for walk-ins, and we absolutely love talking about this stuff. But thank you for watching this episode of Fragbox TV.